Rant time. Yes, it is. Time to rant again about something that I saw in the news that maybe a lot of you won't understand the inner workings of it, but I do. It's about bodybuilding legend Lee Haney, and he needs a kidney transplant. Now, this doesn't come as a surprise because anybody who has done bodybuilding and competitive bodybuilding knows that the majority of competitive bodybuilders do take anabolic steroids. Some of them take growth hormone. Some of them use insulin and other things. And then you have the guys who use regular street drugs. They'll use cocaine before the workout to be hyped for the workout on a low-calorie diet. They manipulate their body all different types of ways. Also, the use of diuretics to flush out the excess water so they don't look as watery when they go out from the water retention of steroids. It's chemical warfare now. I've never done it. I've never done any substances, but at the same token, if you are a person to take steroids, it doesn't guarantee that you're going to become Mr. Olympia, right? Doesn't guarantee that at all. Pretty much, you're never going to be Mr. Olympia. There's so many millions of people across the world taking steroids, and it may put on weight, they may improve the way they look, but what are you doing to your insides, right? Now, Lee Haney always, from what I observed, kind of threw off the fact that he's healthy, and he got praised for that, okay? And there are guys who use steroids that don't have issues. But if you keep using heavy dosages of anabolic steroids and other drugs, it can kill you. They're toxic. You may look healthy, but you're not building health internally. Some people do it a little bit and get off, or do it light and never have problems. I understand that. We have this thing called TRT now, which is low dosages of testosterone or something similar that they say, well, it's just going to bring you up to a normal level of testosterone when you have low testosterone, right? I can go off into that in a detailed way, but here's the message, right? And just to throw out some facts, there's an article here. I'm not going to read it. I'm just going to read off a few certain points. Lee Haney has announced he's seeking a living kidney donor. The 66-year-old holds the record for the most Mr. Olympia titles, a feat shared with Ronnie Coleman and surpassing Arnold Schwarzenegger's 7-win record. Potential donors must be between the ages of 18 and 65. Okay? Yeah, so here it is, what we know. Haney shares the record. Okay, look, we said that one already. I don't want to go off too much on these details, but here's something very important with what I have to say. 26 years ago, this is Lee Haney talking, I was told I would eventually need a kidney transplant, Haney said. Through faith, proper nutrition, and exercise, I was blessed to delay that for many years. Now my kidney is failing, and I'm prayerfully hoping to find a living donor, right? And he said that his family will be forever grateful, and thank you for your prayers, love, and support. He's always been a decent guy. I'm not going to say he's a bad guy. He has a wife, he has his children, grandchildren. You never saw him in any trouble. You never hear him say anything out of his mouth bad to insult anybody. But to me, knowing the sport of bodybuilding, right? I competed from 16 years old in 1980 to 1985 at 22 years old. I've been up around guys who train hard, used heavy dosages of steroids, and never made anything of themselves as far as, being this big Mr. Olympia contender. They all have different reasons for doing what they do. But it was always like nobody wanted to touch Lee Haney by saying that he used this stuff. We all know 95, and that's a low ball number. 95% of competitive bodybuilders are using steroids, more or less. What's the secret, right? Again, you have to be a certain kind of person to train hard every day, diet really strict, watch yourself, and some people are more sloppy than others, right? So I can't put everybody in the same a bucket, because like I said before, there have been people I've known that use street drugs to get through a workout, and they abuse themselves. And it doesn't mean that you're disciplined. You're, on certain levels. You have some people, some of them I know have mental issues, that they can't accept their body looking the way that it does. You see what I mean? So that's a weird thing that it's been hush-hush all these years. He never said anything about that. That's his private business, but now he needs a kidney. He's got to come out and say it. I don't know if you remember when Evander Holyfield, years ago, former heavyweight boxing champion, got around Lee Haney, and Lee Haney trained him, right? I never saw a needle go in Evander Holyfield's arm or his butt, but it was obvious. And this is the other point that I want to make. And I want to finish up with something that you need to look out for with your family members, children, teenagers, all of that. When Evander Holyfield was in the Olympics, I believe he was a light heavyweight. That was around 175 pounds or 178, I guess, in the amateurs, right? Then he came and turned pro, eventually became a cruiserweight. He put the weight on. And then he went into the heavyweight division, right? Now, my question is, we know that steroids are an epidemic in boxing also, right? But ask yourself this. If you're a grown man who's been at a certain weight for a while, you're boxing, you're sparring, you're hitting the bag, you're running several miles a day, and also the sparring, right? You're burning a lot of calories. How all of a sudden are you going to just put on muscular weight when you're doing all of this that keeps your body weight down? You're a grown person already set at a certain body weight, and all of a sudden, boom, you go up in body weight. How does that work? And when Holyfield got to training with Haney, he got extremely muscular out of nowhere. The muscle was slapped on him. His trapezius muscles, his shoulders, his everything, and even his face changed. And that's something you have to look at too. And I've noticed that with many athletes, and it doesn't surprise me that they say with LeBron James that he may have been on some type of growth hormone or some type of, PED. Because from way back in the day, I didn't know, but I used to tease with people in my circle. I used to say, man, LeBron James has a steroid face. Look at his face. He looks older. And that thing ages you too. But here it is. When you have teenage boys, teenage girls, okay, it's the same thing. And they get into strength training. Watch them. Because it's so easy to get steroids and growth hormone and different things that we have 14 and 15-year-olds now taking this stuff. It used to be back in the day where you would train hard for years. And the guys that decide to do it when they're in competition, they do it. That's on you. I never made that leap. I've had gym owners offer to buy this stuff for me, put me on cycles and all. No, I didn't do it. I'm 63 years old. I'm in good health. I'm good. And I understood that. And plus, I didn't want anything to mess with my sex life. No way. It affects down there also. Watch your children. Watch your young boys. This is the Instagram generation. And there's so much with the insecurities that young boys have and young women have, because we have a lot of young ladies that get into the gym. They want to get stronger. They have a little weight on them and they want to lose the weight. And, one of the more popular steroids that women take is called Anavar. And I don't want to get too technical, but even the female bodybuilders that you see, even the fitness models that you see, most of them in the magazines, on these competitions you see on YouTube, they're on it too. It doesn't mean you're going to be this big, muscular, whatever. A lot of them are doing that because it gives you the endurance and you can recuperate better and you feel euphoric and your sex drive goes up. And just to add on for the women, understand when you get the secondary sexual characteristics of a man taking steroids, your voice gets deeper, right? your clitoris gets longer, right? And it stays that way. Look at some of the top bodybuilding competitions, the interviews after the show. Of course, these ladies are dehydrated and they got this muscle on them, but their voices, you don't even have to hear what they sounded like before. You hear their voice, why their voice sounds so funny? And you'd have to know them intimately to know if their clitoris is enlarged, but I've known someone who went through that and I saw it. I was like, God, dog, another couple months you're gonna have a penis. I'm just telling you the real deal. Why? Is it worth it? You will pay for it on the back end. Many do, some don't. But I've never seen too many who heavily use steroids and they get to a ripe old age and everything is just all right. What is it worth? Insecurity, validation. What are you trying to prove? And when they say, well, the top bodybuilders are making all this money. We have a guy named Andrew Jack from Nigeria. He lives in Dubai, I believe. He just made $1 million within 2 competitions, $750,000 and another $250,000 on the next show. But how many are getting that? How many? So people think that I'm going to be the one to, don't waste your time. Train, yes, train, work out, improve your body. Do it for health. But everybody wants to be a star. And then we have the narcissism. Then we have, I don't know. And the insecurities that drive people with this. It's not always discipline. It's not always that, yes, you want to work hard or whatever. Take that ability to work hard and be disciplined and do a business or do something. Yes, you can train. You can be a bodybuilder. You can work out. You can push hard. You can diet, eat good foods. Yes, I'm all for that. But putting dangerous, toxic drugs in your body, it's no good. These days we have young guys, 15, 16 years old. See, they get on these message boards and these chat rooms and these different online ways of communicating, and they're asking about steroids. And they're trying to get it. They walk into a gym, train for a month or 2, and feel they're not getting further enough in their training, and they start sniffing around. Hey, where can I get this? Where can I get that? And there's always some dude who's going to sell it to them, or they can get it from somebody else. There's no way you see some of these young guys, and I'm not hating, but they're too developed. Where do you think it comes from? And who are they going to? Are they going to a doctor to monitor certain levels? If the levels are off dangerously, no. They're stunting their growth, and they look old. There's a lot of them out there. And it just seems like something like it's never going to stop. And it was like that from 40-something years ago when I was training. You're young guys, but it just seems to be worse now because the internet, combined with the insecurities of young men and young women, they want to look a certain way and post their photos. It's bad enough we have filters and everything, but it's a toxic thing. It's a toxic endeavor, and if you don't watch yourself, you really hurt yourself. And if you're a parent or you have somebody in your family who's getting into training, watch them. Don't even ask them, because they're not going to tell you. Watch them. Watch them. Get close to them. Find out. And eventually you're going to have to, go through their room and make sure they don't have anything hidden. It's so easy to hide that stuff, but it's very important because years from now, they will regret it. Lee Haney, we always knew that he was on heavy doses of steroids, and that's probably why he had to stop. And 26 years ago, they told him that his kidney will fail, so he knew. And what do you think that's the result of? There are people who don't take steroids at all who have kidney failure. We understand that certain foods you can eat that weigh your kidneys down. I understand that, but what do you think it is with him? Big and strong looking and healthy looking. And I never met him to shake his hand, but I was close to him behind in the backstage of this competition in 1982. I think it was October 2nd. And that was the nationals that he won. I was in the couples competition. So I didn't meet him officially, but I saw him. He was probably 6 feet away from me. I said, man, he was talking to somebody. And huge guy back then, from what I could remember, and that was 1982. So all your life you're doing this from young, because he was doing it from his teenage years. I don't know when he first took this stuff, but when I saw him, he was definitely on it, and that's a long time ago. So not to ramble on, just watch your family, watch your sons, watch your daughters when they start going to the gym, watch their progress, and make sure. There's certain ways of being able to see certain signs physically if you have a trained eye, and they can always take, or you can always take them to have a blood test and see what's going on. You know what I mean? And say it's for health. You know what I mean? Make up something. Hey, in our family bloodline around this age, we got to check to make sure this, and that. But you're really checking for the high levels of testosterone and the steroids in this system. You got to do it because you can't let them become that runaway train wreck and later on they regret it and you not step in. Anyway, Scurv out. That was my rant for now. I might come back with some later on. Thank you for being here, and let me know what you think. Peace.